during today's webinar, Finding Free Money for College, the Scholarship Search, we're going to talk about things like what types of scholarships are available, and we're going to talk about how to find scholarships, when and how you should apply for them, how you're going to receive the money once you've won a scholarship, and then how scholarships actually will affect student aid. Your lines have been muted. We will have an answer and our question and answer session at the end, and hopefully we'll be able to answer your questions. So I have a poll question for you. In 2013, what percentage of college students graduated with student loan debt? Was it 85%, 60%, 55%, or 76%? And I'll give you a few seconds to make your choices. And the answer is 60%, and that was according to the Center for Education Statistics. So if you said 60%, you were correct. And before we actually dive into the information today, I have a quote from a previous scholarship winner, and we know her very well because she's also an employee here at DCCU. Ivy Williams is a 1999 DCCU Scholarship recipient, and she offered a quote for us today for students, and I'll just read that to you. But the most important thing is to apply for as many scholarships as possible, and that no amount is too small, because in the end it all adds up. Work with your guidance counselors too, because they are a great resource in helping you find free money for college. And we're going to talk about those things today. And something else that we are going to be providing for you, and I'll reference those as we go through the webinar, but we've put some resources together, some handouts for you. So as you leave the webinar today, you're not going to leave empty-handed. We're going to provide you with those handouts and those resources to just get you prepared, get you organized, and hopefully help you find as many scholarships as you possibly can. So let's first of all talk about what kinds of scholarships are available, because there are a lot of scholarships that people don't know about. Some you do and some you don't. So let's just talk about what types of scholarships are available. And of course, most people know that scholarships are available based on merit. And what that just basically means is that you could be awarded a scholarship because of academic, athletic, or even artistic achievements. There's also scholarships that are based on a special talent, a trait, or even a special interest. And let's say maybe you're gifted in the area of art or dance. That would be a special talent. Or maybe you're left-handed like me. Believe it or not, there are scholarships for left-handers. And then there's a really unique scholarship that I found out about when I was researching the information for the webinar, and I wanted to share it because I just think it's so unique. Let's say you're interested in duct tape. There is a scholarship offered if you have that special interest, and the duct tape scholarship is one of the wackiest scholarships for college. It's offered by the Duck brand duct tape. If you use duct tape to create a prom outfit and accessories and enter a photograph to the online contest, you could win $10,000 first place and $5,000 second place, and then there's a third place scholarship for $3,000. And usually that application deadline, it's somewhere between March and May of every year. But I just thought that was so neat to share today, because you know, we do think that scholarships are just always based on grades, but there are so many out there that people don't know about. And we're going to give you some ways of how you can find them today as well. And then, of course, there are scholarships, and they're also based on financial needs. So if you're in an income bracket, a certain income bracket, your student could win a scholarship based on income or financial need. And then there's also scholarships that are available to specific groups. For example, there are scholarships for teenage students getting ready to graduate that maybe are cancer survivors. There's also scholarships available through your employer, or if you're a student, your parent's employer. And then there's also scholarships based on your background. Maybe you come from a military family. There are scholarships out there for those things as well. So let's talk a little bit in detail about how to find scholarships, because there are several different ways, and I think the more people know about those several different ways, the more likely they are to go out and try to find these scholarships. So one of the best resources available is to use your guidance offices at your school. My advice to high school students is to make a great relationship with their guidance counselor, and better yet, you as the parent to engage with the counseling department. What I recommend is if maybe you don't know much about the scholarships that are offered, you can make an appointment with the guidance department. One of the best times to do it is if there's teacher conferences going on. If you can't make that particular time frame, just make an appointment with your child's guidance counselor, and then they can tell you about the local scholarships that are available. One of the things that we do every year, because we offer a scholarship program as well, and I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit about that at the end of the webinar, but we go out to the senior awards assemblies and we present the scholarships to the students who have won. And when we go to the assemblies, we are given a program. And in the program, it's all of the scholarships that are offered locally. And believe me, there's a list. It's not like maybe 10 or 20. There's a lot of scholarship awards that are given away during the senior awards assembly, and the guidance counselors are going to know about those scholarships that are available. Also, too, what the schools will offer on the website is scholarship opportunities. And I want to actually take you to one of the websites of the schools in our service area, which happens to be Spotswood High School. And I want to show you what their website looks like, because most of the high schools that we work with, their websites are very similar. So if your child doesn't go to Spotswood, I'm sure they have a website and it looks very similar to what Spotswood looks like, but they just do a great job, and I thought I would give you their example today. So let's go out to the website and let's see if here it is right here. Okay, so this is their website, and on the home page of the website you should be able to see somewhere where it says counseling. Sometimes it'll say guidance, but basically that's the same department. And if we go down to where it says scholarships, and we're going to click on that, and then as we just scroll down the page, and as we move up, you see all of the different scholarships that are available. And like I said, it's not just Spotswood High School. I'm sure your student or your high school, if you are a student, you can go to their website and find the similar information. Also, too, the local libraries will receive scholarship opportunities. They normally have a bulletin board or somewhere where they post these opportunities, so that's another great place for you to look for scholarship opportunities. And normally they are more of the local scholarships, so you can find out information from them. I did look at a couple of their websites and I didn't see anything on their actual website, so you may need to visit or maybe even just give them a call and find out about scholarship opportunities. And also, too, if you know what college you're going to be attending, you can check with their financial aid department to learn more about scholarship opportunities. You will be considered for some of the scholarships when you fill out the free application for federal student aid, or otherwise known as the FAFSA, which will open in January the 1st of next year. But other colleges may require you to fill out additional paperwork. this is where I always tell students, make a great relationship with the financial aid office of the college that you're going to, because they can give you just tons of information of the different scholarship opportunities. And that way you can ensure that you also get accurate information instead of just hearsay information, because the financial aid officers, they are the experts in financial aid and scholarships. So make that great relationship with them. And then the next thing that we're going to look at, there are online search sites, and they're a great way to look for scholarships that are offered by state and national scholarship opportunities. And a lot of times I have, families, students that'll say, well, I don't really have a chance at a national scholarship. You don't know whether or not you have a chance unless you actually apply. So I'm going to let you look at a couple of the search sites today. I'm going to show you what the websites look like. There are other search sites that you can use, but these are the top 3 that in my research that I found that I felt like were the best. But like I said, there are other ones out there as well. So let's go to the first one, FastWeb.com. It's a free resource where you'll find thousands of scholarships at your fingertips. Not only does FastWeb offer a massive database of monetary awards, but it also features helpful college planning services and learning tools for its registered users. So let's go out and let's take a look at their website. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you arrive at the page. So you know you're on the legitimate page. It's fastweb.com. And what you're going to do is you're going to click on Start Your Search. And I'm not going to go through the all of the information that they're going to ask you, and the reason why is because we would be on the call for a long time if I did. So let's just kind of look at what the basic information is, because what information you put in, FastWeb is going to match the scholarships that you would possibly be eligible for, instead of just showing you every scholarship that's out there. So it's going to ask, whether you're a student, what grade level, graduation year, different things like that, and you're going to fill it out, and it's going to take you through a couple of different steps before you finish. But once you do, because you have put in your email address, when a scholarship is available that matches your criteria, you'll get an email, and then you'll be able to look at it and see if it's something that you would be eligible to apply for. And then the next one is scholarships.com, and it's another wonderful resource for college students who aspire to really, or college-bound students who aspire to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, because it not only finds scholarships, but it also finds colleges that kind of match your criteria as well. So let's just go out there and look at the home page so you know that you would be on the right site. And this is what it looks like. And you can click on Start Your Search. And then, like I said, it's going to ask for information. And it may seem like some time spent, but I guarantee you, the time that you spend and the more scholarships that you find, and you don't have to pay back a student loan for college, is well worth it. It may not seem like it now, but I guarantee you, when you actually graduate, or your student graduates with as little student loan debt as they can, you'll be glad that you put in that extra information to find scholarships. And then the last one we're going to look at is one that is offered through the College Board, and we're going to be talking about them on another resource in just a few minutes, but they offer $3 billion in scholarship awards. And you can, again, put in your information, and let's go to it and let's look at what it looks like. And of course, these search sites, they have tons of information, like I said, not only for scholarships, but also for college planning, because I personally feel like you can never get enough information about college. And sometimes I meet parents when we sit down and we do a student loan and they didn't go to college and they don't understand the process. So the more information that you can get, the more resources that you can use, it's just well worth your while, because you'll learn as well as your student will learn. So that's what it looks like, and then there's the start button, and then you would just start and it's going to ask you for some information. And then the next thing that I wanted to show you is the Scholarship Handbook. The College Board was founded in 1900, and it is a not-for-profit organization that connects students to college success and also opportunities. And the College Board basically was created to expand access to higher education. And then today the membership association is made up of over 6,000 of the world's leading educational institutions, and it's dedicated to promoting excellence and equity in education. So each year the College Board releases the Scholarship Handbook, which you see what it looks like on the presentation here, and it's really to assist students with the scholarship search. And then the Scholarship Handbook 2016, it provides the most complete and authoritative facts about more than 1.7 million awards, including scholarships, even internships and loan programs as well. We have a copy of this book at DCCU, and you can also get, you can also check with your local library. They usually will get one in. I don't know if they have it in yet because it is fairly new, so you want to check with your local library. Or if you want to purchase one, you can purchase it at the local bookstore, and it's about $30 of the cost. But if you want to come in and visit with me, I will let you use our Scholarship Handbook. And you can't really see what the book looks like, the thickness of it on the presentation, but it's very, very thick, and it has tons of information in it, and it has a lot of resources. So I encourage you to get a copy and use this as you're searching for scholarships too, because it, like I said, it is a great resource to have. And then the next thing we're going to talk about is when and how to apply for scholarships. Each scholarship will have its own deadline. And it's most important that you know what that deadline is and make sure that you meet that deadline. It is not unusual for half of scholarship applications to get thrown out just because they were late. They didn't meet the deadline. Some scholarships require you to apply as early as your junior year, while others you will apply during your senior year. And then the best time to start looking for scholarships is usually during the summer, and of course we're not in the summer anymore, right? So if you haven't started doing it, it's not too late. We just say the summer because we want you to get a head start on doing this. But again, if you haven't started, now is a great time to start. And then each award will have its own requirements. You should be able to find out what those requirements are if they have a website, or maybe it's an organization that you need to call, but you should be able to find out what those requirements are, and then learn who is eligible, and then how to apply, whether it's an online application, whether you have to submit a paper application. And then be sure to read the requirements carefully, because most scholarships are judged, or scholarship applications, or if it's an essay, they're judged. So be sure you understand the requirements and then you follow them carefully so you don't get points taken off or whatever the judging criteria is. And then I have another quote, and during my research of looking for just people who have won scholarships, I found this and I wanted to share it because I thought it was just an awesome story. Melissa King, she writes for the Savannah, Georgia Savvy Shopper Weekly column, and she won a scholarship to go to college, and her college was completely paid for. And this is what she says. She said, I went to college on a football scholarship. And she goes on to say, yes, and I was a girl who never played a day of football in her life. I worked as the football equipment manager, and in return for getting this scholarship, I worked with the football team, assisted during practices, taking care of the players' equipment and uniforms, and she also assisted the coaches on game days. And she won a full scholarship for what she was doing. So as I thought about this particular story from her, I thought, you know, be creative when you're looking for scholarships. Evidently she was, and her creativity paid off, because she goes on to say, unlike many of my peers on graduation day, I graduated without loans to haunt me for years. And I just love that, and I wanted to share that with you guys today, to just think about being creative. Now let's talk a little bit about getting organized, because anytime we need to make a plan or sit down and you know, search for different things, we need to get organized. And my first thing to say to you is make a list of the scholarships that you plan on applying for. That would be the first thing. And then also, too, you want to know what the contact information is and what the requirements are. So make sure that you bookmark the websites or write down online resources for these scholarship opportunities, so you can refer back to the eligibility criteria and application requirements, such as letters of recommendation, essays, and transcripts. And then the step 3 that you want to do is find the deadlines for the scholarships you'll be applying for, and then put the deadlines into the calendar, either if you're using a smartphone or you're using your tablet, or if you're just using a calendar that you're writing information down on. You know, just make sure that you don't miss the deadline. And then also, too, when we talk about deadlines, don't set a reminder for the day the application is due. Set a reminder for maybe 2 to 3 weeks in advance of the application deadline, so that you have enough time to complete the paperwork and gather all required recommendations. And then step 4, note whether the application must be mailed by United States Post Office, or if it can be emailed, or if it's going to be submitted through an online form. If the application must be mailed, build extra time into the application schedule for mailing. And then the last thing is, once you've done steps 1 through 4, go back. Step 5 would be to go back and find more, or do more searching for scholarships. Now, I have prepared for you today. It's in Excel format, so I'll be emailing it to you. But it's like a spreadsheet, and it is a list for you to use if you choose to use this, and then it'll help you get organized. So that's one of the resources that we're going to send you today, and you can print it out, you can write on it if you want to save it to your computer and type in the information, but it is a list to help you start getting organized. And then the next thing we want to talk about, what are ways to win scholarships? And I've listed several. And the first way is to prioritize. Can you apply for every scholarship available? And the answer is no. And there's a couple of reasons why. A, there's probably not enough time in your schedule to do so. And B, you will not meet the requirements for every scholarship available. So it's most important for you to prioritize what scholarships you are going to apply for. And again, refer back to the list that we just looked at that I'll be sending out to you, and that'll be a great way to do it. This will save you a lot of time in the long run and better your chances at winning scholarships that you are actually eligible for. And when I say that, I don't mean don't apply for a lot of scholarships. I'm just saying, in order to save you time, just make sure you apply for the ones that you know you are eligible for. And then the next step would be to create a resume. And you would want to put in your resume, or you could look at it as a portfolio, but to list your greatest accomplishments. And I know a lot of students that I talk to, they'll tell me, you know, I really haven't accomplished anything. I haven't lived long enough to accomplish anything. And I always answer them, oh, yes, you have. Think about the things that you're currently involved in, or maybe the things that you have been involved in. And some of the examples that I like to give students, maybe you played a certain sport and you made that great play to help win the game. Or maybe you're involved in a school club where you've held a position, or maybe even presented a good idea that created a change for the better. Maybe you were active in your youth group at church and you helped raise funds for a missions trip. Maybe you went on a missions trip. I heard a teenager once say in her example, and I loved it, so I'm going to use it. Her example was her greatest accomplishment was when she worked for charity while she was in high school. She was involved at working at a halfway house for teenage mothers or single mothers, and she actually helped take care of the infants through her charity work. You know, whatever it is, you're the only one that can tell your story. So just be sure when you're creating that resume or that portfolio that you shine, because you're the only one that can make yourself shine. And then also, too, some scholarships will require you to have a nomination. If you feel like you meet the requirements, ask for a nomination and don't be shy. This could be money that you pass up just because you don't want to ask someone to nominate you. And then also to write a remarkable essay. Make sure when writing an essay to follow the T rule. And what the T rule is, time, energy, and effort. If you write one great essay, you'll probably be able to use it over and over again. You may need to tweak the information, but you'll be able to have one good written essay, and then you don't have to do a new one every time you're required to. And also, too, make sure that you know whether or not you need to submit it online or how you need to submit the scholarship application. And then before you actually submit it, make sure all the information's right. Make sure you read over it again. Make sure your application makes sense. Make sure when you're submitting it, it's not like submitting a Facebook post. Make sure you're using proper grammar, proper English, things like that you would do if you were writing maybe an essay for school, or you're applying for even like a job application. You want to make sure you do that properly. And then also, too, letters of recommendation. Sometimes scholarship awards will require you to have a letter of recommendation. This could be from a teacher, maybe a youth pastor, or someone that knows you well. A couple of things about letters of recommendation. Number one, when you ask for it, be sure that person's going to give you a good letter of recommendation, and make sure you also give them plenty of time to do it. Don't go in, if it's a teacher you're asking for a letter of recommendation from, don't go into her classroom and say, hey, I need it by 3 o'clock today. Be sure you give them plenty of time, and then also to lead that letter. Say, do you remember the time I did XYZ? Do you remember the time I did ABC? That way you bring those things back to their memory, and they will write you a better letter of recommendation. And once you get a few, you can use them over and over again. So you may not need a whole lot of them, just like your essay. You just may need to tweak it a little bit. But you can use those over and over again as well. And then some scholarship awards or applications will require you to go through an interview process. So that is actually one of the resources that we are going to provide for you today. It's just a list of interview questions that you may be asked during a scholarship interview. So we're going to provide that for you. But if you have ever had a job and you went through an interview, a scholarship application would probably be very similar. You want to make sure you dress professionally. You make sure you practice what you're going to say prior to the interview. That way you can be polished and you can be well prepared. But we'll send you those questions along with the resources today to help you prepare. And then also, too, how will you receive the money if you win a scholarship? And there's a couple of different ways, and it's all going to depend on the scholarship award itself. A lot of programs will send the award directly to the school, and that just kind of helps the student out. That way, it's one less thing that you have to worry about. And that's one of the things that we do for our scholarship winners. We get their information, and then we just send it directly to the school. That way, you know it's done. You don't have to worry about getting it to the school yourself because you're busy enough preparing for college. And some of the information that you're going to have to provide to the organization that gave you the scholarship is, of course, they need the name of your school where you're going to be attending. They also will need the address of the school, what your complete name is in your student ID, and then sometimes there's also the financial aid department will give you further directions. Maybe it needs to go to a certain person in the financial aid office. So they'll let you know, but be sure that you do check with your college and get correct information so you can ensure that they do receive your scholarship check. And then sometimes, too, funds will be sent directly to you, and you can determine what college expenses you want to use it for. Some students will use funds sent directly to them for things like maybe you need a new computer or you're going to need a tablet or something. You can use that if the funds come directly to you. And that way you can buy some of those things that you necessarily maybe didn't have the money for, and you would have had to put that in a student loan, so it will help you that you don't have to finance the cost for those things. And then something else that I kind of want to talk about a little bit, because we have sometimes individuals that ask us, because we do offer a scholarship program here, but how do scholarships affect other student aid? And getting an outside or a private scholarship can actually reduce the amount of financial aid you get from a college. But that doesn't mean that you're going to have to pay a bigger share of your college costs. It just means that the scholarship dollars replace financial aid package dollars. If you get an outside scholarship, you must notify your school's financial aid office. If you do not, you may be required to pay back all or part of the needs-based financial aid package to the school or the government if they find out you received a scholarship. If you are eligible for need-based financial aid and have submitted the FAFSA, your aid package will be accordingly reduced so that your total financial aid will not exceed the cost of attendance by more than $300. This is a federal rule, and schools don't have any choice in the matter. So it's going to be up to your college if you do get scholarships to decide what type of financial aid to reduce or to cut if you receive outside scholarships. Some cut the college grants, and others may reduce the amount of your government loans because those are need-based. And of course, that's to your benefit, though. It means that replacing loan dollars, which must be paid back, and of course with interest, you're just replacing them with scholarship dollars that you don't have to pay back. And then other colleges may apply your scholarship award to your next semester. If you win an outside scholarship, tell your financial aid officers about it, and then ask them about your college's policy on outside scholarships. Again, this is a department as you go to college that you want to make the relationship with, because again, they're experts and they know exactly what they're doing, and you can go to them and they can explain it to you where you would definitely understand. So if you do get outside scholarships, you must let the college know. It's just a rule from the government. And then that leads me up to the DCCU Scholarship Award. We are very proud that we have offered scholarship awards to graduating seniors in our field of membership. This is the 21st year. And you will qualify if you or of course your student, is one of the following, and these are the requirements: a graduating senior at each of the 19 high schools in the DCCU service area. If you want to know what those 19 high schools are, I'm not going to list them for you today, but you can go to myDCCU.com and we have a listing of all of the 19 high schools. And we also award one student who attends a private school, is homeschooled, or is a DCCU member living outside the service area. That's another category. And then we also have one adult continuing their education. So we actually offer 21 different scholarship awards every year, and the deadline to apply is going to be Tuesday, March 1st. So you have plenty of time to do it, and the criteria this year is going to be based on an essay question. You would need to write a 750 to 1,000-word essay based on the following question, and the question or questions are: how do you think technological innovation has changed the financial industry over the last 10 years? And in light of these changes, how can DCCU balance innovation with technology? And we thought that was very appropriate for this age group because we know technology has changed, and we know the students that we're reaching out to are very technological savvy. So I think we'll have a good pool of scholarship applications. One of the neat things that I would like to point out about DCCU Scholarship is that students are judged among their peers. And basically what that means is, let's say we've received 200 applications. We don't pick 21 from the 200. What we actually do is we judge the essays from students at the individual schools. So let's say your student goes to Waynesboro High School, and we receive 10 applications from Waynesboro High School. Your student will only be judged among those 10 applications and not all of the 19 high schools in the service area. So to me, that's some pretty good odds. I encourage you, because we want as many applications as we can, I encourage you to sit down with you or your student and apply for this. It's really not a hard scholarship award to apply for. It's just doing some research and then sitting down and writing an essay. So they have pretty good odds of winning this $1,000 scholarship. $1,000 can pay for books. It can pay for if you need a new computer for school, or things like that. So it can help you to use it for whatever the needs are. And that is basically all the information that I have for you today. I hope you have learned something. But I do want to point out, again, I have referenced throughout the webinar the different resources that we're going to provide for you. At the end of the webinar, either this evening or tomorrow morning, I'm going to be emailing you the recording, because again, I said please sit down. If your student's not on the call today, please sit down and have your student listen to the webinar along with you, or if you don't want to listen to it again, of course, they can listen to it on their own, but just encourage them to do so, because again, it's a partnership. So you'll be getting the recording, you'll be getting a copy of the presentation that you've seen today, and then these are the resources I'll be emailing out to you. I had referenced the scholarship search checklist that's in Excel format, and I will send that to you. We also have a little document on essay tips, so how to write a really good essay. We also have a list of the interview questions that the student may be asked during a scholarship interview. We also have the scholarship handbook. If you want to stop by, I am at the Lucy Lane office in Waynesboro. I have one copy of it. You're more than welcome to use it and bring it back to me. And then also, too, something that we have created is a junior and senior checklist. These are just the things that you need to be doing your junior and senior year to prepare for college, because it's just not searching for scholarships. It's tests that you have to take and deadlines that you have to meet. And we'll be emailing that out to you as well, so you can have that as a reference point and put those dates on the calendar, so you make sure you get the things done to prepare you or your student for college. And that is all the information that I have for you today. I want to thank you again for joining us, and we will open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions today, you should have a box on your screen. I think it's a question box, and you can type in your questions. And also, too, one of the things I'm going to ask you to do for me, my information is on this slide. So what I want you to do is use the information that we've given you, and if you find any kind of scholarships through the information that we provided for you today, I would like to hear back from you. I would like to hear, what the scholarship was, how much it was for, and so forth, and that just gives me an idea of what we've brought to you today has helped you. And I don't see any questions. Again, I want to thank you for joining us, and I hope everyone has great. Oh, wait a minute, we have a question? Okay, let's see. Is the DCCU Scholarship for children already enrolled in college? That's a great question. We do have the adult category, but the adult category will, it's only for someone who is 23 years old or older pursuing a associate or a bachelor's degree. So the other 19, they would need to be a graduating senior at one of the high schools in their service area or the private or the home school. So I think that answers your question. And I don't see any more. We'll give you just a few more seconds, and I don't see any questions coming in. So thank you. Oh, thank you. I see your answer. Good. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing back from you, and have fun with the search for scholarships. Thank you. Goodbye.